The ability to store your wealth in your head until we get to a world where we have, what's that movie, Inception?
Inception, yeah.
Where someone can go into your head and steal your private key. Bitcoin has just become the most valuable asset the world has ever seen. When you look at Swissborg
est sorti ce matin.
They have an app where you can buy crypto.
They connect to Binance, HitBTC, LMAX, and Kraken and find the
best rates in the markets.
What I like about Swissborg is that they have an amazing app
that can directly buy cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and also cash out as well.
Through Swissborg, all assets will have a fiat gateway. And here's the thing.
Premium features gives you zero fee trading.
That is zero fees.
If you want to buy Bitcoin with fiat, I suggest you buy through Swissborg rather than Coinbase.
And if you're interested in trading the likes of Ethereum or Bitcoin, use Swissborg's application.
In a fast-moving and confusing crypto asset market, get an edge with Crypto Slate Edge. Enhanced, in-depth news coverage and extensive crypto asset and sector data are all part of your exclusive access as a member, helping you understand the market with features such as on-chain metrics and sentiments, all of which allow you to convert knowledge into action with an ad-free experience. As a bonus, access our private Telegram channel to receive live insights whilst engaging with the Crypto Slate community. Subscribe now at cryptoslate.com/edge.
Your gold, since the age of metal detectors, can be confiscated. How do you transfer your gold across the world? You can't. Metal detectors will find it. Gold is also not really censorship resistant because unless you're paying someone in person, but we have an interconnected world, we have the internet. So gold can't transfer like that over, you can't decompose it into its elements, into its atoms to send it to someone. And while gold is finite, just like Bitcoin, Bitcoin is more finite. Bitcoin is more scarce. Bitcoin is harder, does require more work to achieve. Not yet, but very soon. It takes more work to get to create new Bitcoin than it does gold. So its stock to flow is better for Bitcoin.
Wealth is about how you could create a digital financial ID, like a risk profile, build a portfolio that matches your convictions of how much risk you want to take, how much profit you want to make, how much products you want to use, as well, what is the purpose of your philosophy of investments. And I think so this is exactly what everyone wants is at the end is to create wealth. And it's not only monetary gain, it's really building something that's right for you. And everyone should always really think about, first, what is your risk profile? Is it conservative, is it balanced, is it growth, is it high growth? And based on that, you could know like how much are you able to take in the bad times, not in the good times, because everyone's gonna say, I wanna make 500% per day, right? It's just, but are you able to lose 85% or 15%? And that's the first thing that everyone should start, realizing. And then it's more about diversifying your portfolio and trying to add different investment assets that could manage to get to that. And as well, what's your purpose investment? I always say, right? If you want to go into DeFi because DeFi is a great way to decentralize finance, or if you want to go into Bitcoin because you really believe that Bitcoin is one of the savers that helped decentralization. If you want to go into Ether because it's the first one that brought in smart contracts. If you want to go into Swissborg token, this is the first one doing crypto wealth management.
For me, it was Ty Lopez, actually. He kind of set it off for me. He's very smart. He showed you the reward. Here's my Lamborghini. Here are the books. I should do that now, actually. And he started off with that, which immediately is different to school, because school is all about, here's your punishment, get the grades. And so it was that contrast. I really wanted to hit it big when I was younger. And seeing people like Tai Lopez, seeing other people who, seeing even movies like Wolf of Wall Street, right? Just seeing very wildly successful people, I started to think started to wonder what's possible. And then for me, it was reading books. That's what allowed me to build a mindset. I had the classic loser mindset, before everything is everyone else's fault, nothing is my fault, I hate my life, all this bullshit. And then, I started reading these books at 14. It was a very young age. I got very lucky to start reading those self-development books because that is the perfect age to learn things like...
Perfect. Your mind is developing so much, right?
Yeah, especially when that reward is in front of you because now you're receptive too. So that's how I started out. It was the whole mindset thing. That led to habits, a really, really strong desire of wanting this life. That was a big part of it. If you don't really work to it, it's probably just because you don't want it that bad. You want to say you want it, but you don't actually want it. So,
in terms of Bitcoin itself in this space, is it Bitcoin that you're the most interested at the moment? Is it specific projects? Is it an asset class, a sub-asset class, exchanges, decentralized exchanges, yield farming? I mean, there's so much in the news. What are some of those specific parts that you really feel like, oh, that's something that I really like to hear more about or learn more about?
That's a very good question because I think that, especially when we work in journalism, of course, Bitcoin is the thing that everybody is searching for. Yeah. But I think that it's very important for the media to create not only clickbait articles. And in my opinion, what is the most interesting is the application of the blockchain technology. Could it be in the healthcare industry, in wine, in the art business, in providing access to the unbanked. So that's the thing. I mean, I think Bitcoin is just a name that became so popular all around the world. I remember in Davos at the World Economic Forum 3 years ago. It was January 2018, so just after the boom of the price. Yeah. And everybody was talking about blockchain, but they decided that the community of the World Economic Forum preferred not to combine these two concepts, phenomena. Blockchain is not Bitcoin and Bitcoin is not blockchain. It's not true, actually. But so for me, Bitcoin is an opportunity to talk about blockchain in general, because Bitcoin is the most famous use case of a blockchain network, and it's simpler maybe to explain. But there is so much behind. Yeah, you mentioned, exchanges, it's in the financial industry, but blockchain actually can be applied with whichever data we want, and that is very important.
What are some of your favorite projects or favorite asset classes or specific protocols? What excites you the most about DeFi?
So generally DeFi was always there, just there was not that much hype around it. So everybody knew that generally blockchain is DeFi because it removes intermediaries, it gives access to finances and etc. And so, there are a lot of use cases, such as we see decentralized exchanges, insurance, and the biggest one is lending and borrowing. And this year with Compound, it became super big. Everybody started searching for these governance tokens, providing liquidity to a lot of projects, to a lot of protocols, but you should be as well careful with that, especially if a lot of these completely new projects are unaudited. So there are some risks associated with that. But generally, in some way, it seems like the times of ICOs, when everybody launched their new projects just with idea and without anything else, because of the hype, free money on the market. The same we can see now with DeFi, new free money on the market. You just stake, you get enormous gains. And etc. But of course, there are some legit projects, trustworthy. And as for my personal investments, I prefer not, of course, sometimes it's better to enter some projects very early, so you can get the biggest returns.
My approach for the DeFi bubble, the upcoming DeFi bubble, is I want to hold not the small DeFi projects, which I invested in a few, right? And they did well, but in the end of the day, I think it's the best to invest into these Krakens like Uniswap. Polkadot, where they are actually governing, like they are in the DeFi space, and they are like, Ethereum was profiting from the ICO hype, Polkadot will be profiting from the DeFi hype, also Ethereum or Uniswap. So I want to buy these things with lower risk and still an insane upside, because many of these IEOs, ICOs you are going to have opportunities investing in, well, if 95% of them are failing and you are doing 20 investments and you are a little bit unfortunate, you're not getting this one, you lose it all, right?
We know that altcoins tend to go up a lot. And I only care about altcoins going up against Bitcoin. I don't care about it going up against the US dollars. So I want to end up with more Bitcoin in the end. And I have had a few good altcoins that did well. And I'm going to be honest, I didn't do any extensive research on the altcoins, because it seems like it doesn't really matter in altcoins. You don't really need to know what you're buying. However, I would suggest doing some basic research, of course, not just going and buying randomly on CoinMarketCap, and also you don't want to buy scams, right? And there are a lot of bad projects out there. What I basically try to do is I rely on information from people that I trust, and I know that they did a lot of research, and I take a look at it, of course, and then I buy. But I try to stay to what I understand, and that is Bitcoin mainly, and also Ethereum. I really enjoy my exposure to Ethereum, which is like 10% or something of my portfolio, approximately. And I think that, yeah, so if I were to tell anyone to go into Bitcoin or go into crypto today with, let's say, $10,000, I would still say 80% exposure to Bitcoin. I would say 10% Ethereum, and then you can take 10% into random altcoins that you find interesting. DeFi is a big thing that people are talking about. DeFi seems to be growing. DeFi could be something that I think people should have some exposure to. I do have exposure to DeFi. Actually, by holding Ethereum, you already have exposure to DeFi.
Because it's the infrastructure for all the DeFi projects, right?
Even holding Bitcoin is exposure to DeFi, because Bitcoin is the biggest DeFi project.
Yeah, it is.
It is the most successful, long-lasting DeFi project in this space. And I think that, people tend to forget that, but decentralized finance, that is what Bitcoin is, right? So I think that, Bitcoin is what matters absolutely most.
You can read books, but sometimes you can't compress the scale of time. So what you will learn by observing market for a year, right? Even if it's 5 minutes every day for a year, what you will learn during this time will not be the equivalent if you compress the same time in 1 week or 2 weeks. Like if you constantly look at the market for every day for 2 weeks, which is maybe equivalent to the same amount of time of looking at the market 10 minutes every day, you will not learn the same thing. So you can't compress scale of time. You need to accept that you need some experience. And that's why sometimes having a mentor that can show you the path, accelerate your learnings is something extremely good.